Hi everyone, it's Mike here. I hope everybody's had a sufficiently fantastic holiday and that you're all gearing up ready for the new year. I had a lovely time, but I've got time to squeeze in one last art journal page before the new year. So let's go ahead and switch to overhead camera and I'll show you what I'm going to be doing. So this is the large digital collage sheet set that I've printed out on my computer. This is the full composite image with all the pieces already attached, so if you don't have time to cut all the bits out and stick it down yourself, you can still use it by using that main image, and these are all the bits and pieces that go to make up the full collage. Now there are quite a few different prompts and sayings and quotes that you can use on this sheet too. So you've got what makes you different makes you beautiful, why fit in when you're born to stand out, and then the other one says if you're going to be weird, be confident about it. On the other sheet you've also got a woman should be two things, classy and fabulous, another version of the weird one, and then on there you have in order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different. It's Coco Chanel. And another couple of versions of the other sentiments or prompts too, or quotes if you like. So you've got quite a lot to go out on that sheet, and don't forget there is, this sheet or this set was designed for larger journals. So this is my 10 by 10 journal, but if you have one of the larger Dilutions journals, which is 8 by 11 or 8.5 by 11 or whatever the size is, this is designed to fit that size too. But there is also a smaller set which is designed to fit the smaller journals this size, but it also fits, I discovered, and this is the smaller kit too, the new sized 8 by 8 journals that Diane Reeve has put out too. So the smaller kit also fits quite nicely on those two, and that's a page that I've already done in my black journal. I haven't done a video for this one because this was a tester, just to see how the neo colours work on the black paper, but I will tell you about that at some later date. But that's the small one, but that also is the size for the smaller Dilutions journals too, or even the Strathmore mixed media journals. So that's that. Okay, so on to my big page. I'm going to go away now and cut out my big composite image, and then we'll begin the construction of the page. Okay, so there she is all cut out. Now what I've done is, because my cutting out isn't exactly wonderful, is I've gone around the edges afterwards using a distress marker. Now I've used, for the orange, I used Spiced Marmalade, and for the edges of a dress I used pine needles, and just to go around the darker areas around the butterfly wings there and her hair, and I've also gone around the diamond as well just to hide those white edges. I've just used black soot. So I've just used a combination of those three distress markers just to go around to blend out any white bits that may have been left with my cutting out, but I think I did pretty well. Okay, so now to start on with the page. So I'm going to begin by adhering down this napkin recently sent to me by Hanny Tromp in some Happy Mail, and I'm going to stick that down using the matte medium from Mod Podge. So I'm completely covering the page, and I'm just going to lay the napkin flat over the top and then just smooth out any wrinkles. I'm not bothered about getting any bumps or wrinkles in it because it just adds to the texture of the page. And I'm just going to add another coat over the top of the napkin with the Mod Podge, just to make sure that it's all nice and sealed down. And once I'm happy it's stuck, I'm just going to bring out the heat gun and give it a good blast to make sure it's all nice and dry before I move on to the next layer. I am going to leave the edges of the napkin where they are right until the very end. First colour we're going to use is the Lemon Zest acrylic paint from Dilutions, and I'm going to apply that directly to the page with a baby wipe. And now, using the fresh lime, I'm going to do exactly the same thing using the same baby wipe. I'm not too bothered if there's a little bit of contamination, and I'm just blending the two colours together on the page while they're still a little bit wet. And I'm now adding my third colour, which is the cut grass, and again I'm just going to apply that using the same baby wipe. For the same reasons, I'm just going to add that colour and blend it in around the page until I'm happy, and then I'm just going to bring up the heat gun and give it a blast before I move on. So for the next step, out come my stamps, and I'm using this watercolour butterfly stamp set from Stampers Anonymous, which is a design by Tim Holtz, and I'm just using the Ranger archival ink in sepia, and I'm just going to randomly stamp that butterfly and another one around the page. And because I forgot to show you the lid, there you go. So now I'm going to bring out the white linen Dilutions acrylic paint, and I'm going to do a little bit of mark making around the page just using this bathroom tissue tube. And this second piece of circular plastic is just from an old light fitting. So now I have two different size circles on the page. I'm going to give it a heat blast, but I'm not going to put the white acrylic paint away because I'm going to be using that again later. So now it's time to stick down my main image. I'm just using the triangular collage glue stick from Ranger and just apply that to the back, and I'm just going to wipe up that glue and then stick it on my page. And all I'm going to do is just place it on and then just give it a smooth over with a piece of kitchen roll just to make sure that it's all nice and stuck down. And if there are any kind of loose edges, I'm just going to add a little bit more glue to it, just like that. I'm happy. I'm just going to stick down my chosen quote from the sheet over the ones that I've included on the kit. Now I'm happy with that. It's time to add some shading, so I'm going to bring out my black Stabilo all pencil, and I'm just going to outline the right hand edges of my figure and the wings and also the quote block, and just activate the pencil with a water brush. And this water brush is one of a set of 3 that I purchased in one pack, and in the pack you get a small one, a medium one, which is what I'm using now, and a large one, which I don't think I've ever used. So when I'm happy with all the blending out of the black all pencil, I'm just going to bring in my heat gun and just give it a quick dry, because it does dry pretty quickly, but just wanted to help it along because I'm very impatient and I can't wait to get on to the next step. Next step is bringing out the food ball pen, and I'm just going to go around and add in some doodle highlights and just try and tie everything together. So I'm now going to just draw borders and outlines around my figure, and then I can start to blend it all into the page. It's always surprising to see just what effect adding the black outline around your main elements actually does. It does really help them pop from the page if you want them to stand out. And of course, I am going to draw back in those antennae. And as with most collage items like this, when you've made a composite image up of different images, it's always nice to actually go around and outline everything in black, because it does help to blend it all together and make it look as though it was meant to be. Even if you've created a collage from totally different elements. One of the things I love about digital download collage sheets like these is that if you don't have the time or the financial resources to buy lots of magazines, they're a great way to still get that effect without having to spend that money and also that time in trying to hunt out the images. Okay, so I'm finished with the black now, so it's time to bring out the white. This is the Signo White Opaque Rollerball pen, and it's the broad nib one. Apparently it is available also in a fine tip, but I prefer to use the broad. and I'm going to go around the collage image just adding in some white highlights and some doodle dots, and just try and pull it all together by adding in a little bit more interest to the wings of the butterfly, and also just to add a little bit more pop of colour in certain areas around the page. Okay, I'm now happy with all my white little doodles and dots, so I'm going to bring back the white acrylic paint, and I'm going to now add some splashes just randomly all over the page. Adding these white splashes really does help bring the background and the foreground together, because you've got the white element with the circles and you've got the white doodles. It really does help to balance the page out. So I'm just going to give the page a quick heat blast just to seal the white paint down onto that. It doesn't take too long because it's only splatters, and then the only thing left to be done is to remove the tissue from around the edges of the page. Now, I wanted a kind of rough effect for this, so I deliberately went in and just tore the tissue off, making sure that I had a real kind of rough and rugged edge to it. And I think I'm going to call this page Done and Dusted. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little art journal page using that new digital collage sheet on my Etsy store. And don't forget, there is a large version for large journals and a small version for small journals too. So that's it from me. If you've enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me. I will see you all in 2016. Bye for now.